counting day live. I once again have with me some of my colleagues. We have Neelam
I
Pandey
can,
with
but
us.
it's very bad network.
I think we have some connection issues. We can hear you so far. We also have Sushil Manav and our political editor DK Singh right here with us. To start off with now, since we have a little more clarity on the numbers in comparison with our previous live, DK and Sushil, maybe you two can look into and talk a bit about the Haryana elections, because that those results seem to have baffled the commentators and analysts so far.
Yeah, do you want to go ahead? I'll come back later.
Shall I?
Yes, please.
Oh, sure.
So, see, after the results of parliamentary polls, going by the trends for the of the last 2-3 elections, it looked almost certain that Congress is likely to win. But in the parliamentary elections, the Congress took lead. Congress plus Aam Aadmi Party took lead on 46 seats, and BJP on 44. But now, looking at the results, the BJP is now ahead on 48 seats. So the party has rather consolidated its position on seats which basically the party lost during the Lok Sabha polls. I'll particularly mention some seats in Hudda's heartland. For example, Kharkhoda in Sonipat district, where BJP is leading, Guhana, and then Sonipat, Kalanur, and also some seats in Hisar like Barwala, Nalwa, Hansi. So this only shows that while BJP through its micromanagement has been able to uh, translate its strength into votes, but going by the decline in the turnout, it seems as if the Congress didn't have that much of booth level management. Otherwise, the way Congress was thinking that people are going for a change, the voting percentage should have been better this time, but this didn't happen. Uh, See, in 2019, the turnout was nearly 7% less than 2014, but this time it is 1.3% less than 2019. So, what I think is that it's the victory is because of BJP's management at the booth level.
Apoorva, there are two, big picture things here.
Right.
First, yes, it's the best performance of the BJP in Haryana and best ever. Look at the vote share. It's not just about the number of seats. About 40% seats. A big deal. As far as I remember, the BJP did not have that kind of vote share ever. I mean, not in the assembly election. Now look at it, 40%. So if you look at 2019 Lok Sabha election, when the BJP got 58% votes, in the assembly election, it came down to 36.449. It was a big drop. And then you see now in 2024 Lok Sabha election, the vote share actually dropped from 58% to 46%. There's a big drop, almost by 12 percentage points. Even now, in the assembly election, BJP has managed to get around 40% votes. Almost as much as the Congress has. That's a big deal. Now, behind that, of course, there will be many interpretations what happened. And if you look at some constituencies, say, for instance, Pundri. Pundri is one constituency which the BJP never won. Last I saw, the BJP was leading on that seat for the first time.
Right.
So it has been a massive victory for the BJP. And somewhere you have to give credit to the BJP, to the RSS. So RSS has made its point very clear. RSS did not, act or did not actually participate in the election as actively as it used to do in the Lok Sabha election. We saw what happened, and we have been discussing why the RSS was upset and what it did. Lots have been said and written about this. I won't get into that. But this time, as our colleague Sanya Dhingra reported from Haryana, RSS was totally into it. It it has gone to every village, every single village. Given the results that you have, you see that now the RSS has proved the point that the BJP cannot do anything without the RSS. So your statement that you remember from JP Nadda, that the BJP is competent now and does not need the RSS, JP Nadda has been proven wrong, and his political bosses have also been proven wrong. BJP needs the RSS, and RSS has proved it yet again. That's point number one.
Right.
Second point is it's a big reality check for the Congress. We have been saying from the beginning, Lok Sabha results were not about the Congress's or opposition's victory. It was about the BJP's own problems. Internal wars and people trying to sabotage each other, fix everybody, the way tickets were distributed, the way certain leaders were targeted. We have talked a lot about how the BJP lost the last Lok Sabha election. But it was never about the opposition's victory, or not that people had voted for the opposition. Of course, BJP's tally came down to 240. But it was kind of an anti-BJP vote, which the Congress somehow misread.
Right.
And so Haryana has given a big reality check to the Congress. In the Lok Sabha election in Haryana, Congress and Aam Aadmi Party together got about 47-48% votes. Now, if you look at the Aam Aadmi Party's tally in the assembly election, going by leads, AAP candidates in Kurukshetra Lok Sabha election, Lok Sabha constituency, nothing, which proves the point. AAP was hardly a factor in the Lok Sabha election. It was all Congress's vote. So we can say with a certain degree of certitude that Lok Sabha vote share of the Congress in Haryana, that was 47-48, was basically the Congress party's vote share. Was not a factor there. Now, from 47, Congress has come down to 40. So when there was election for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, where Rahul Gandhi was the face from the opposition side, Congress got 47-48%. Now it's down to 40. It's a big lesson for the Congress now. It's a big reality check going forward. The party has to think. I mean, the swagger that you have been seeing in that party for the last 4-5 months has to stop at some point. And the Congress needs to actually think where it has been going wrong.
For both of you, just a follow-up question. Where do you see the Jat community in Haryana with these results?
Well, as Sushil Manav just told us, even in Udad's stronghold, the Congress candidates have been trailing. And of course, there has been a consolidation of non-Jat votes. And probably, even I have to admit that, we were just thinking that Jat versus non-Jat politics was not working in Haryana. But this result tells you that it is working.
Right.
Congress probably played it a bit too much. We know that Jats actually swing the results in about 40-42 constituencies in Haryana. But actually, putting all your eggs into that Jat basket are probably not a good strategy.
Right. I will move on to Neelam first because I think there's a bit of patchy network here and I want our viewers to get into really what's happening in Jammu and Kashmir as well. Neelam, to start off with, if we look at 2014, PDP emerged as the single largest party, but right now it's not doing very well this time. Could you talk a bit about that, the factors that played in, the sentiment on the ground about the PDP?
Right. We are standing outside the PDP's office, in fact, and you can see it wears a deserted look. The workers are missing. Obviously, the fact that the party was hoping to emerge as a kingmaker in these elections is something that it has not been able to achieve. At the same time, individual candidates who have managed to win, including Wahid Para from Pulwama, people say that it is because of his individual rapport. It was more a candidate driven campaign and nothing to do with the party. PDP, Iltija Mufti, for instance, has already lost from Bijbehara. She conceded defeat. Iltija Mufti is also one of the leaders who had talked about that the fact that PDP will emerge as a kingmaker. In fact, on a day before the counting took place, she had even gone on record and said that whether they will extend support to NC or Congress is something that the senior leadership will decide. NC Congress, on the other hand, has already, as per the trends across the Mark and Farooq Abdullah has in fact come out and said that Omar Abdullah Banega chief minister. He has also said that these elections are a verdict on what happened in 2019, the abrogation of Jammu Kashmir. Well, the road ahead for our Abdullah also is not going to be a smooth one. There will be a share bit of challenges that he will have to face. We will be updating you with all that happens throughout the day. But so far, whatever the sentiment is on the ground, the political analysts, the party leaders are telling us that people of Jammu Kashmir had made up their mind that they wanted to go for one particular party, and NC Congress seems to have emerged as the formidable force. For PDP, as you asked, they will have to do a bit of rethinking. What does it mean for them as far as the future is concerned? Many fear that a number of party leaders who had already deserted the party, the ones who had left, what will they do right now? Will the party look at resurrecting itself, or will it also mean an end to their sort of political game? Well, it is too early to say that because it will also depend on how they have fared in terms of vote share. So many factors will play a key role as to what PDP will do in future. But so far, they're definitely not the kingmaker.
One
Right.
good thing from the election there, Apoorva, is there was a lot of apprehension about how the separatists would fare. As
Right.
Neelam reported, there were 28 separatists or ex-militants in the fray. Some from Awami Ittihad Party, some backed by the Jamaat-e-Islami. And as what happened in the, say, Baramulla Lok Sabha constituency last time, where Engineer Rashid went on to win, there is a lot of apprehension that if a lot of separatists manage to win, manage to get elected as MLAs, and you have a government which has to depend on those people, what will happen and what kind of narrative they will set? Thankfully, so far we don't really see that happening. There are about 7, 8 independent candidates leading right now,
Right.
and we will get into their background as the day progresses, who they are and their agenda. But the thing is, they will not have any major role in the government. In the NC and the Congress have a clear majority. That's point number one. That's a good thing. In fact, that's a good thing, a good message from this election. That the separatist agenda, after the Lok Sabha election, people were talking about how a section of the Kashmiris might have voted for a separatist agenda. That apprehension has not come true now. So that's one thing. Secondly, as Neelam said, Omar is going to have a lot of challenges. It's like he's going to become another Arvind Kejriwal,
Right.
because as we have discussed so many times, how lieutenant governor's powers have been actually, the LG has been actually made much stronger. So you cannot transfer IAS, IPS officers. You cannot transfer or post any administrative secretaries. You cannot even appoint, your law officers, not advocate general. If you have to prosecute somebody, you cannot do that. All these things will have to be given consent to by the lieutenant governor. So what's the role of the chief minister there? You know,
Right.
so you are going to now. People have reposed a lot of faith in Omar Abdullah in the NC, but when you have this scenario happening there, what you see in Delhi every day, if that happens in Jammu and Kashmir, that is something people won't be expecting. But yes,
Right.
that's where Omar Abdullah has a lot of challenges. As
Uh,
Iltija said in an interview with Neelam, the next chief minister is going to be the mayor of Jammu and Kashmir, and she was not very far from the truth, because the next chief minister will have to contend with the fact that he won't have that much power.
Right. DK Neelam, now, of
And
course,
and Apoorva, just to add,
yes.
yeah, I just want to add one more thing to the separatist and former militants contesting the elections, that a lot of people are also saying this entire narrative that they were BJP's proxy candidates. Omar Abdullah, NC leaders, PGP, Mehbooba Mufti. A number of them had spoken about the apprehension they had with these independent candidates, and it seems that that narrative did manage to stick, and people sort of realized that they had actually come into cut into the vote share of NC and Congress. So that has also sort of played a part in how the NC and Congress have performed and the overall performance of the independent candidates.
Right. For all our viewers, Neelam had in fact done a very detailed story on these independents, on these former separatists and Jamaat-backed candidates who fought the election. So please, I urge all of you to go read that story as well. Just a follow-up question, DK and Neelam, since of course Omar Abdullah seems to have a tough road ahead of him, but this also at the same time, does it also signal a comeback for him after the defeat in the general elections? That's one. And will this also, do you see this as the voice for Article 370, the abrogation, the voice for full statehood being emboldened in any way, DK?
No, so I don't see the result as something to do with the Article 370. If you travel in Kashmir today, of course, people talk about Article 370, how their identity has been snatched.
Hmm.
But they're not voting on that. I mean, they are totally reconciled to the fact that it's gone forever. So it's not
Right.
about that. Although the NC promised in its manifesto that it will be working to get Article 370
Hmm.
restored,
Hmm.
but as Farooq Abdullah clarified later, that the NC would be pursuing the legal course. It will be going to the court, and we know what the Supreme Court has already done. So that matter
Hmm.
is settled.
Hmm.
What? But yes, it's a big comeback from the national conference, because right after the abrogation of the special status, I had gone to Kashmir, and there
Hmm.
was so much of resentment against the national conference and the PDP.
Hmm.
They held these parties responsible for whatever happened to them.
Hmm. Hmm.
So NC had aligned with the BJP long way during Vajpayee's time, and that PDP aligned with the BJP, and whatever happened, basically people were holding these parties responsible.
Hmm.
And for once, it looked like that those parties were finished totally, and that was
Hmm.
2019.
Hmm.
Today, this kind of mandate for the national conference is very positive. Yes, they have punished the PDP.
Hmm.
Now,
That's what I
PDP
wanted to
aligning with the
understand. What
BJP,
was
then yeah. So they
hmm.
have punished PDP,
Hmm.
but the NC, this national conference, making the best of it. And
Hmm.
we talk about different parties in Kashmir.
Hmm.
National conference probably is the biggest, in what you call, well, you must have heard Omar Abdullah, I am an Indian,
Hmm.
that kind of thing. So, quite a nationalist party that way, although you will find that the adversaries, describing this party as, separatist, tukle tukle gang, blah, blah. You have political adversaries saying all that. But national conference has been quite unequivocal. From Farooq Abdullah to Omar Abdullah, there's nothing doing, there's no talk of separatism whatsoever.
Right. Right.
So
So, do
good
you
that
think that set
going forward.
apart? Do you think that set apart NC from PDP, where all the anger was directed against PDP instead of NC?
No, not exactly that point, but yes, the fact that people did not want to vote for Mehbooba Mufti,
Hmm.
and national conference is the only alternative, and people wanted their own government, quote
Hmm.
unquote, own government. So
Hmm.
they did not want to be ruled by Delhi through the LG.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they had to go for an alternative,
Right.
and there they went for the national conference.
Hmm. 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 Sushil, coming to you now, Sushilji, when we talk about Haryana, right before the elections, there was a lot of talk about how Dera or Ram Rahim will impact the elections. How do you answer that question now? Do you see any impact?
See, I'll have to check all the constituencies before going to that, because his influence is largely in Sirsa,
Hmm.
where so far BJP has not won any seat.
Hmm.
Second is Fatehabad.
Hmm.
Out of the three seats, the BJP has won only one, leading only one Fatehabad seat.
Hmm.
Then Kathal, I don't
Hmm.
think BJP is leading anywhere. I'm not sure about that. And the next is Kurukshetra. These are the four districts. Now
Hmm.
they claim they have influence all over Haryana, but these are the four districts they have their main influence area. So I
Right.
don't see much of the influence.
Okay.
Apoorva, I and Sushil Manav were discussing just a while back.
Hmm.
While BJP had this great victory,
Hmm.
overall BJP is leading in 50, about 50 seats now.
Hmm.
It must be very happy about the defeat of some of its own candidates. I mean, not the party, but the BJP leadership here. So you see, Anil Vij,
Ah.
who was just going after Khatra, I mean, as long as he was in the cabinet and later also, Anil Vij was trailing. I have not seen the latest trend, but he was trailing.
Hmm.
You have Aarti Rao Inderjeet Singh's daughter, who made
Hmm.
her electoral debut this time. Now,
Hmm.
Rao Inderjeet Singh has been kind of, he has been complaining that Saini was made the chief minister and he is one of the chief ministerial claimants. He was making all kinds of noises. Now, his daughter Aarti Rao is also trailing.
Hmm.
So there are certain seats where the BJP may be happy seeing the results going against it, in fact. I mean, I'm saying BJP, I'm saying not BJP, not any party, as leadership there.
DK, since you spoke about how the RSS campaigning on the ground and how this was different from our colleague Sanya Digna also did a report on this. Now, we also saw another change this time where we saw Narendra Modi, PM Modi campaigning for his party. This was a key thing in the 2014 win in Haryana, but now PM Modi wasn't, he really took a back seat. And now Haryana's, I mean, BJP seems to have done wonderfully in Haryana. How do you analyze this?
Oh, you can say that, as Sushil Manav himself reported, in 2014, Modi had addressed 10 rallies in the assembly election.
Hmm.
In 2019, there were 6 rallies. This time, there were only 4.
Hmm.
So the BJP was not really projecting him as the face. BJP was not seeking a mandate for Narendra Modi as it did
Hmm.
in the past.
Right.
Even in 2019, the BJP was seeking a mandate for Modi for
Hmm.
a double engine government, not
Hmm.
for Khattar.
Hmm.
This time, BJP was completely silent. We have discussed it earlier. Modi's pictures were hardly there on posters, not in publicity materials. So,
Hmm.
this election, you cannot call it a mandate for Modi, and it's not a victory for Modi, as you'd say, although
Hmm.
it's the best the BJP has done.
Hmm.
You cannot call it victory for Modi because, mind you, we have just discussed the vote shares. In 2019, also, where the BJP got 58% votes, in the
Hmm.
assembly election, BJP could get just about 36.49, 36.5% votes.
Hmm.
So it was not for Modi in the assembly election. Similarly, in this election also, you cannot say that this is a mandate for Modi.
Hmm.
BJP has done much better with lesser rallies by the Prime Minister.
Right.
So it's for the party and the social engineering that it played.
Right.
As you discussed, Jat versus non-Jat
Hmm.
stuff.
I will get to Sushilji also on this because maybe he has some pointers to add. But before that, we have Neelam back on with us again, and we'll take advantage of the small pockets of network that she gets so that we get information from Kashmir as well. Neelam, now we know that with Engineer Rashid's win back in the general elections, there seemed to be maybe an expectation from his party also, or party-backed candidates maybe doing well. Uh, where do you think that? What do you think that was that didn't work out that well for him, for his party-backed candidates at least this time? Neelam, we can't hear you.
That
Are you
can you
audible?
hear me now?
Yes,
Can you
yes,
hear me now?
yes.
Yeah, I was saying that, one of the things that had emerged from the Lok Sabha elections is the fact that the entire campaign of Engineer Rashid was led by his son Abrar Rashid. He was
Hmm.
lodged in the hard jail. So there was this emotional connect that they were able to ensure with the voters of Jammu and Kashmir, and which translated into his victory. At the
Hmm.
same time, similarly, if you see in today's scenario, they obviously did not have much time to declare their candidates. Some of the candidates were actually those who were not given seats in other parties. At the same time, I just want to take you back to the point when Omar Abdullah had filed his nomination. And for the first time, we saw Omar Abdullah, unlike his usual self, he held a cap in his hand, which is symbolic in Jammu Kashmir culture. And he said that, my honor is in your hands. And that, many said, did strike an emotional chord with the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And the entire campaign was focused on the identity of Jammu and Kashmir as far as the NC is concerned. Though issues of unemployment, development that should have taken place were highlighted by NC, but as far as the why the AIB has not been able to have the kind of impact that it was hoping, it is also to do with the fact that they did not have a clear agenda as to what exactly were they offering. At the same time, in the minds of the voter, they were aware that with 34 candidates, they were nowhere in a condition or in a situation that they will be able to form the government on their own. So, as I said, this proxy BJP tag did manage to stick to them, and somehow that has, in a way, gone against them as far as Engineer Rashid is concerned. We have been trying to get in touch with Engineer Rashid also, but right now he's not at his residence. He was supposed to be in Srinagar, but many say he has now gone to Langet, from where his brother, who is also contesting the election, is leading right now.
Right.
Apurva, by the way, when Neelam went to Engineer Rashid's house this morning, it was totally deserted. Quite an
Okay.
unusual
Yes.
scene there. So the
Mhm.
party which projected itself as the third alternative in Jammu and Kashmir,
Mhm.
now
Yeah, and
suddenly,
just to add to that, in our interview, he had actually said that we are confident of forming the government, and we will take support from others as and when required. So from that to not so far winning even a single seat, it is a big jolt for the party as well as Engineer Rashid.
Mhm. That's something that even Iltija Mufti had told Neelam as well, for our viewers, that they would emerge as the kingmakers. But as we can see, there's a deserted look that PDP office also wears at this moment. DK Sushilji, we have a question for both of you from one of our viewers, Aditya. He's asking, what, according to you, is the role of Dharmendra Pradhan in BJP win?
no, in the BJP's win,
Yes.
not much. He was involved there, but there were many others. You had Satish Punia, you had Biplav Dev. Biplav Dev has been Haryana in charge for quite some time. He has been handling affairs. Then Satish Punia was sent.
Hmm.
So, well, Dharmendra Pradhan was involved, but it was not like he led the charge.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
were there were many others involved.
Hmm. Right. Uh,
Really, what's your information on this?
hmm.
He was election in charge for Haryana,
Hmm.
and Viplab Dev was co-in charge.
Hmm.
And Biplav has been there for long, for over a year now.
He's also BJP
Ah,
is in
nice.
charge for Haryana, but
Hmm.
election co-in charge.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Sushilji, do you have anything else to add on my previous question on PM Modi not featuring in the campaigning?
What I find very interesting in all this is that a party which was almost confident
Hmm.
that they'll not win.
Hmm.
I mean, going by the way they decided not to make it a Modi's election.
Right.
From the very beginning, they said that this will be contested under Naib Saini. And
Hmm.
today in the morning, when initial trends came, there is an
Hmm.
official statement by Naib Saini: if we
Hmm.
lose, this will be my loss.
Hmm.
I mean, this will be because of me. This is what he said. And on
Hmm.
the other side, and on the other side, uh, there are yesterday there was a news with pictures. Selja going to some gaushala and bowing before the back of a cow,
Hmm.
and the pujari blessing her with the pooch tail of the cow for becoming CM. Surjewala going to Kedarnath, and one of Huda's confident going to Himachal Mata, some Mata's mandir there. So they were planning for the CM ship, and here is
Apurva,
BJP.
in hindsight now, I think the BJP strategists must be actually cursing themselves. Why did we not project the Prime Minister, PM Modi, as the face there? What a change!
I was asking the wrong question actually. How did that play a part in the whole thing? Neelam, before we lose network again, could you give us a few parting comments on your analysis of the results so far? Neelam,
Yes, am I
pause.
audible?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Well, the hectic activities will take place today. Just to give a wrap up on that, Omar Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah are likely to hold a press conference later in the day. And at the same time, what it means for NC Congress, we have DK sir has explained it quite nicely that the challenges lie ahead. It will not be easy, as he pointed out. And the comparison with the Aam Aadmi Party. Even political analysts say that at least for the Aam Aadmi Party, they were new. They were a new party. Omar Abdullah has served as the chief minister of a full-fledged state. From them, from 2009 to now 2024, he will now be leading a state where he will not have much power. As many have said in the past, that this is going to be the weakest assembly in Jammu and Kashmir, with the CM not having much power at all. Also, how the dynamics between the center and the union territory will play out will also have a bearing on what will happen next. At the same time, NC Congress Alliance had made a number of promises, whether it is in relation to unemployment or development of Jammu and Kashmir. And at the same time, they will also have to focus on the Jammu region. What will they do? What will be their strategy for Jammu region will also be important, because in Jammu region also BJP has so far, it seems like they will be winning 25 seats. So that is an important segment. They will not be able to ignore that, is what political analysts say. But at the same time, right now the focus would be to have the government to start working one by one. But the fact that abrogation of Article 370, as DK sir also pointed out, was part of their manifesto, is something that we all know is not, it doesn't come under their ambit. It is the center alone which can do it. In fact, when we had interviewed Farooq Abdullah, he had maintained that he's aware of the fact that this is the domain of the center, but they will approach the Supreme Court, and whatever time it may take, how many years it may take, but they will ensure that they will fulfill this demand.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us, Neelam. We will get back in touch with you in a bit. DK, Sushilji, we have quite a few viewers' questions also coming in, and even though both of you have touched on this, but I would like to take some of them. Rishabh Agarwal is asking, why did suddenly the situation change in Haryana on last day, when not just every exit poll earlier, but everyone on ground was also reporting Haryana supporting Congress? What could be the factors?
Apoorva, frankly, probably parties, I mean, politicians, and we as media also probably misread the situation on the ground.
Hmm.
We did not really see the kind of non-Jat mobilization that was happening in favor of the BJP. We actually underestimated it.
Right.
Probably our judgment or our assessment was influenced by what happened in the Lok Sabha.
Hmm.
And as you have seen, Congress's vote share also, if you look at it in Haryana, has been increasing with every election. Even in this election, it went up. In fact, as we speak, if you go by the trends, Congress has got more votes than the BJP so far.
Hmm.
No, a few thousand more, but Congress has got more votes. They have not got translated into seats that way.
Right.
Congress, in 2014, Congress was down to about 23% votes in 2000, I'm talking 2014 election, from 23% to 28% to 40%. It has done pretty well in terms of vote share. It has been going up, but the translation into seats has not happened this time again.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So it's not that you are, but generally the feedback from the ground of people, reporters, politicians, whoever went there, they saw some kind of total support for the Congress, or very strong anti-incumbency against the BJP.
Hmm.
It was a misreading on our part, on the part of, in fact, even the BJP leaders, as Sushil Manav has spoken, Nobody was reading it, and even CM himself telling that if we lose, I'll be responsible, tells
Hmm.
you the mindset. So somewhere everybody went wrong. Nobody could get a hang of what was happening on the ground. That strong undercurrent in favor of the BJP was missed by all of us.
Hmm. Sushilji, do you have anything to add to that?
I think DK has said all.
Hmm.
Basically, yes. I'll just like to add that the Congress support base is in among Jats. So Jats are very vocal
Hmm.
when reporters go to the field. They express themselves. Jats express themselves. But
Okay.
the OBCs normally they don't come forward. Don't even tell where they are voting for. So
Okay.
this can also be one of the reasons.
And then again, I was looking at looking at many seats where INLD has done fairly well. We thought
Hmm.
INLD was done and dusted, and all the Jat votes would get transferred to the Congress. So
Right.
while JJP is not going to win a single seat, INLD has done pretty okay. I mean, pretty okay in the sense not in terms of seats, but on many seats it has got substantial votes. That might also have hurt the Congress.
Yeah.
Right. There's another question that we have um, from Satyam. He's asking, why did Rahul Gandhi's social engineering not work in Haryana? Has Rahul showed off the constitution too many times in his rallies? That's why Congress went haywire.
Congress is again repeating the same thing. Now, this Agniveer, which the
Hmm.
Congress thought was a big vote catcher.
Hmm.
In Haryana, it kept talking about Agniveer, giving them job guarantees and all.
Hmm.
It hadn't really worked.
Hmm.
When you talk about social engineering, no, Congress did not really try any social engineering as such.
Hmm.
But yes, Bhupinder Singh Huda, his son, I mean, their assessment was like, the non-Jats, I mean, OBCs who were abandoning the Congress in the past
Hmm.
or returning to the party.
Hmm.
Dalits who had left are returning to the party. So you saw how even somebody like Ashok Tawa,
Hmm.
I mean, he was in the BJP 2 days before the day before the polling.
Right.
2 days before the polling, he decided to rejoin the Congress.
Hmm.
So that tells you how politicians in Haryana were totally clueless about voters' vote.
Hmm. Hmm. Sushilji, your comments on this?
Rahul Gandhi's social engineering.
Yes.
I think DK has said all.
Okay. Before we close this live, any parting comments and takeaways from both of you for our viewers?
Well, for me, I just summed up two things.
Hmm.
RSS has proved that the BJP cannot, you know, survive and thrive without its help. RSS has proved its,
Point. Hmm.
importance for the BJP.
Hmm.
Second, a big reality check for the Congress. They should get back to the drawing board and start reassessing not just the Haryana result but also the Lok Sabha result. The Lok
Hmm.
Sabha result was not for the Congress; it was against the BJP.
Hmm. Sushilji, your parting comments before we close this live?
I'm reading a comment by Pratik Behera. He
Ji.
says that 2024 Lok Sabha has given Congress a false sense of optimism.
Hmm.
So I will say that, of course, it seems as if this has given some sort of overconfidence to the Congress. So, because as I said, that for the Congress, now they were thinking a victory as a foregone conclusion. Only thing left for them was who will be the CM. And
Hmm.
only yesterday, the Congress sent uh, Ajay Makan and another gentleman to Chandigarh as
Hmm.
observers. So I think it was overconfidence of the Congress,
Right.
basically.
Thank you so much for that, both of you, for those takeaways and that analysis. We will, for our viewers, we will of course keep this live going. We'll be back with more once we have more numbers, and we're going to keep you up to date today. Thank you so much for watching.